So, despite getting through my first yoga class by dissociating and telling myself that I was fine, when this Friday rolled around, actually several days before it rolled around, I realized my anxiety was really high. From like Tuesday on, like all that I could think about was like the upcoming Friday yoga thing. And after going back and forth and lots of conversation, I ended up deciding not to go. It wasn't an easy decision because to part of me that feels like giving up or not like trying hard enough, and also to a big part of me it feels like it shouldn't be that hard, like I should just be able to go and do a yoga class and just like not be triggered, and just kind of invalidating my reality, I guess. But the plan is to try doing yoga at home because I kind of came to the realization that doing yoga in a public space has two huge triggers. One is I am just triggered by my own body, and the second one is I am triggered by being visible to other people. And so doing it at home gets rid of one of those triggers. And so if I can kind of work on comfort within my own body at home first, then I'm not trying to fight two battles at once. With kind of this whole attempt to get embodied via trying yoga, I've been really surprised at how hard it is. I have been like low level dissociated basically over a week now. I don't feel super emotional in the sense of like I'm not really crying or like actively feeling overwhelmed, but I also just have like no motivation, no focus, like I'm not functioning very well right now, which to part of me I think makes sense because I think like all of this really goes back to the trauma with my stepdad, like verbally sexually harassing me like my whole childhood, because like that's the trauma where I really decided that my body was the problem. And so I think I have kind of been avoidant of and minimized and in denial of that trauma for a lot longer than I was in denial and avoiding some of my other traumas. And I think that there is like kind of like secondary trauma to kind of feeling like gaslit about the whole experience, that I think that's why I am so prone to gaslighting myself in response to confronting the impact of this. And yeah, I know that I have large amounts of grief and anger and probably disgust over all this, but I'm not really able to really feel it. At a recent therapy appointment, we like did some parts work to talking about how the part of me that like suppresses my emotions and intellectualizes them like thinks that if I were to start letting feelings out that they would like completely overwhelm me. And so we were talking about how I can try to titrate that, like feeling a little bit doesn't have to mean that you let yourself feel everything or that you like, you know. But I think at the same time I'm afraid of, like, I don't trust myself to actually be able to do that. Like I feel like if I try to like crack it open, that I'll just like be completely overwhelmed and flooded and won't have any control over how much emotion comes out. But it's also tricky because I don't feel like I'm like actively resisting the emotions. It just kind of feels like they're stuck. But yeah, that's kind of just where I'm at.